Om Swastiastu. Hello everyone, how do you do? I hope all of you guys are pretty well. In this occasion, I am Dewa Adiari with my partner Kadek Jeniari Sarsini. We'll explain materials in grammar, which about pronouns, especially explain the each usage of pronouns. Besides that, we also explain about one and ones, and then so and so not. Well, everyone, without further ado, let's get started. Well, before I explain each of the usage pronouns, we have to know what's the meaning of pronouns. So, a pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun or noun phrase. Pronouns refer to either a noun that has already been mentioned or to a noun that doesn't need to be named specifically. Grammatically, pronouns function much like nouns. They can be used both as subject and objects. They refer to people, places, and things. They can be singular or plural, and they can be modified by adjectives. There are many different types of pronouns that we use in writing and speech. They are personal pronouns, reflexive, indefinite, possessive, relative, demonstrative, interrogative, intensive, and reciprocal pronouns. For now, we will briefly look at each of these different types. For the first one is personal pronoun. A personal pronoun is a pronoun typically used to refer to a speaker or to the people or things that a speaker is referring to. Like the other pronouns, personal pronouns only replace nouns and not other parts of speech, like verbs or adjectives. Besides that, we can use personal pronouns to refer to a single person or thing, or many people or things. There are two types of personal pronouns. They are singular and plural pronoun. In the singular pronoun, we use I and me as the first person, you as the second person, and she, her, he, him, it as the third person. In a plural pronoun, we use we, us as the first person, you as the second person, and last, they and them as the third person. But everyone, in here I want to explain a bit more about they and them as pronouns. While words they and them are usually plural, it is acceptable to use them as singular words. As singular pronouns, they and them are often used naturally to refer to a person without specifying their gender. Alright everyone, there are examples of each personal pronouns. In singular pronouns, there are, for the first one, I exercise every day. For the second one, Raymond has always been nice to me. And then, Victoria gave Martin a present and he gave one to her. And then, you should brush your teeth regularly. And last one, an ant can lift something that weighs much more than it does. And then, in plural personal pronoun, there are we built a snowman. The price of the jewelry surprised us. Next, Jack's clothes were soaked after the car splashed them. For the fourth one, the workers went on strike because they wanted a higher pay. And last one, the monkeys entertained the guests that came to see them. Alright everyone, for the second pronoun is reflexive pronoun. A reflexive pronoun is a pronoun used as an object that refers to the same person or things as the subject. We use reflexive pronouns when the object of verb or preposition is the same as the subject of the sentence. In order for a sentence to make sense, it must be obvious who or what the reflexive pronoun is referring to. Well, everyone, there are lists of reflexive pronouns. We use myself, yourself, herself, himself, itself in singular, and we use ourselves, yourselves, themselves in plural reflexive pronoun. Well, let's look at how we use reflexive pronoun in sentences. In singular reflexive pronoun, there are some examples such as I ate breakfast by myself. We will be busy, so you will have to drive yourself to the airport. and the other example as you can see on the slide. In a plural, there are some examples also, such as we gradually drag ourselves out of bed. The second one, hi everyone, help yourselves to some pancakes. And the last one, the silly clowns made fools of themselves. Right, for the third pronoun is indefinite pronoun. An indefinite pronoun is a pronoun that doesn't specifically identify what is referring to. But indefinite pronouns generally refer to a person or thing. Indefinite pronouns have a variety of uses, such as, for the first one, referring to an unknown person. For the example, the witness saw somebody sneaking around. So, in here, the word somebody here is marked as unknown person. Right? For the second one, referring to a general amount. For the example, most of the kids left, but several of them are still here. So, the word several in the sentence is marked as general amount. Right? For the third one, referring to a totality or absence. For the example, we tried everything but nothing worked. So, the word everything in the sentence is marked as totality, and the word of nothing here is an absence. There are some types of indefinite pronoun. There are plural, singular, and both of singular and plural. In plural, it will include both, few, fewer, many, others, and several. And in singular, it will include neither, anybody, anyone, anything, and the example as you can see on the slide. Right, for the last one, in plural and singular, it will include all, any, more, most, none, some, and such. There are examples of indefinite pronoun in each types. In plural, such as, both of my friends are hungry. And then we invite all of the neighbors to the picnic, but few had come. And the others as you can see on the slide. And then example in singular, such as, he had barely finished his first soda before he started to drink another. And then everyone was shocked by the sudden announcement, and many more as you can see on the slide. In singular and plural, there are some examples also, such as, all of the trash is gone, all of my sisters are blonde, and most of the drinks are already gone. Next, for the fourth pronoun is possessive pronoun. A possessive pronoun is a pronoun that is used to express ownership or possession. For the proper usage, possessive pronouns can be used as either subjects or objects. There are a bunch of different possessive pronouns that you can use, which can be either singular or plural if they are referring to one person or multiple person. In singular, it includes mine, yours, hers, his, its, and theirs. In plural, it includes ours, yours, and theirs. There are some examples of possessive pronoun in each singular and plural. In singular, it could be, for the first one, that is her car and this one is my car. For the second one, that is her car and this one is mine. Right, for the more example in singular, you can see it on the slide. Next, in plural, it could be, in Emilia's party was great, but just wait until she comes to our party. For the second one, Emilia's party was great, but just wait until she comes to ours. And then, this is my cookie pie, and that one is the one for all of you. Well, everyone, as I said earlier, to shorten the time, the limit of this video, you can read the rest of the examples in plural on the slide. Next, for the fifth pronoun is relative pronoun. A relative pronoun is a pronoun that is used to introduce a relative clause. In particular, relative pronouns usually introduce relative clauses that describe nouns or other pronouns. Well, will be easier to understand if we look at some sentences. A relative clause is a type of subordinate clause, also known as a dependent clause, which means that it can stand by itself as a complete sentence. Such as in independent clause has an example like Jeff is a friend. In a sentence, the clause can stand alone. While independent clause has an example like who is always there for me. In this sentence, the clause cannot stand alone. Well, besides I explained explained earlier, relative pronouns also typically lead relative clauses and, in a manner of speaking, attach them to an independent clauses. For the example, Jeff is a friend who is always there for me. In the sentence, the relative pronouns who introduce the dependent clause that modifies the noun friend. Well, everyone, there are lists of relative pronouns. It includes who, whom, whose, which, and that. Next, we have some example of each relative pronoun. For the first one, I need to find a roommate who doesn't smoke. And then, the employee helped the customer whom the manager brought over. And then, she gave a ride to a tourist whose family was from Sweden. And then, the computer which I bought yesterday is on top of my desk. And the last one, the uniform that had been worn by Napoleon was on display in the museum. Okay, based on those examples, I need to explain for each of the relative pronoun in each sentence. For the first one is about who and whom. In here, who is used as a subject and whom is used as an object. We use who and whom to refer to people, but some style guides also allow who and whom to refer to named animals. Grammatically, it is considered improper to use who and whom to refer to objects. For the second one is about whose. The word whose is both a possessive pronoun and relative pronoun. We use whose to introduce a relative clause describing someone or something's position. Next is about which and that. Which and that are used in relative clauses that describe objects or animals. In general, the word which is used to introduce non-essential information and that is used to give important information. Alright everyone, for the next slide, we'll continue by the next presenter, Jenny. Jenny, the time is yours.
So guys, I will continue the next material. The next material is a demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronoun is a pronoun to point to specific people or things. For the example, there was a chair right next to you and chair across the room from you. When talking about the chair nearer to you, you can say, this is a chair. When talking about the chair far away from you, you can say, that is chair. Demonstrative pronoun can be used to refer either people, animals, or object. For the example, for people, this is my friend lunch. For animals, that looks like a poisonous snake. For object, the cars in the front are worth more than those in the back. Demonstrative pronoun can be used as either a subject or an object. For the subject, I think I need new shoes. These are pretty old. For the object, what is that? In demonstrative pronoun, there are two types. The first one is singular and the second one is plural. In singular, demonstrative pronouns include about, that, and this. The word that has many different meanings and can be used as an adjective, adverb, or a conjunction in addition to a pronoun. For the example, the word that can also be used as a relative pronoun that introduces relative clause. And for the plural demonstrative pronoun, include these and those. This is used to refer to nearby things, and those is used to refer to faraway object. How to use demonstrative pronouns? Like all other pronouns, demonstrative pronoun must follow the same rules as nouns do. For the example, the correct sentence, that is an expensive car, and incorrect sentence, that are an expensive car. Next material is interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns is a pronoun used to ask a question. There are 5 lists of interrogative pronouns. The 5 most commonly used interrogative pronouns are who, whom, whose, what, and which. Less commonly, longer form of this word ending in ever are also used. Whatever, whomever, whoever, whosever, and whichever. For the example of the sentence, who took the towel? Who will win the champion? Whom did you give the key to? And I found this Porsche. Who is this? And what is love? And other example you can see on slide. Okay, the next material is intensive pronouns. Intensive pronouns is a pronoun that refers back to the subject of a sentence in order to emphasize it. There are many different reasons why we should use intensive pronouns, such as to point out an odd or unexpected situation or to highlight an impressive achievement. In intensive pronouns, there are 2 types. The first one is singular intensive pronouns, and the second one is plural intensive pronouns. In singular intensive pronouns include are myself, yourself, herself, himself, and itself. In plural intensive pronouns include are ourselves, yourself, and themselves. And how to use intensive pronouns? An intensive pronoun is not used by itself in a sentence, and intensive pronouns follows the nouns or pronouns it refers to often immediately. For the example, you can see on the slide, in correct sentence, himself solved the mystery. And the correct sentence, Dr. Watson himself solved mystery. Are example of intensive pronouns. In singular intensive pronouns, I built this house myself. You need to find the answer yourself. And the example of plural intensive pronouns, we will have to escape the island ourselves. It turned out that the garden themselves had taken the tractor. So guys, this is the last pronouns. The last pronoun is a reciprocal pronoun. Reciprocal pronoun is a pronoun that expresses a mutual relationship. Putting it another way, a reciprocal pronoun refers to a situation where someone or something perform an action on others and receive the same action in return. The lists are each other and one another. And how to use reciprocal pronouns? There is one important thing to know about reciprocal pronouns that separate them from other pronouns. Unlike other pronouns, reciprocal pronouns typically only make grammatical sense when they are used as object. This means that we usually don't put reciprocal pronouns as the subject of a sentence, clause, or phrase. For the example, correct sentence, Barry and Mary are friends. They smile at each other. Incorrect sentence, Barry and Mary are friends. Each other smile at them. And this is an example of each other and one another. Example of each other are Romeo and Juliet love each other. and the coach spoke to each other about strategy. An example of one another, the members of the board congratulate one another on a successful quarter. At the roast, the guests took turns making jokes about one another.
Alright, I will continue the next material. It's about one and ones. One and ones are used to avoid unnecessary repeating of words. Well, for the first one, I will explain about one. We use one if the noun is singular. For the example, these chocolates are nice. Would you like one? Would you like in the sentence has the same meaning as would you like a chocolate? So, one in the sentence, one means a or an. Next, we have ones. We use ones if the noun is plural. For the example, these cups are dirty. Can we have some clean ones? So, the word ones in the sentence has the same meaning as cups, the clean cups. So everyone, the usage of one and ones are easily same. It's just one is to state one thing and ones to more than one thing. Well, for the next submaterial will be explained by Jenny. Jenny, the time is yours.
The next material I will explain is using so and not as subtitles for a clause. We use so after a question form of thinking and speaking to avoid repeating a positive clause. This use is common with the verb assume, believe, expect, guess, hope, presume, imagine, suppose, suspect, say, tell so, think, and the be afraid and it seems or appears. For the example, the first one, are they coming? I think so. This meaning of think so is they are coming. And other example you can see on the slide. And we want to avoid repeating a negative clause. We can use a positive verb plus not or a negative verb plus so. We can use either of those forms with the verb. For this example, they leave a copy of the key. It doesn't seem so or it seems not. And we normally use a positive verb plus not. For the example, shall we go for a run tomorrow? I'm afraid not. I have to be at the office all day. And we normally use a negative verb plus so. For the example, will it take long to fix it? I don't think so.
Alright everyone, that's all that we can say about this material. We do apologize if the way we explain the material are not clear. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.